Genova, Italy. Definitely these roads seem to be...
This is the value. The value is this.
The nearly 75-acre area has 5 miles of seaside roads looking out over 1 million square feet of water, and is used especially for the International Boat Show held here each October. Another greatly anticipated event is Euroflora, the exhibition of flowers and plants from all over the world, organized here every 5 years. Modern appearance with buildings from the 1950s and 60s, and it unites the city center with the elegant Albaro districts and others to the west. One of the most famous buildings covered in mirrored glass is Corte Lambruschini. A variety of businesses are located at its interior, as well as a permanent theater with an important acting school. This boulevard, following the ancient trail of the Roman roads, heads north, the route which historically connected Genoa to Piacenza, and the thriving San Colombano di Bobbio Monastery. One part of this route, today ensconced in the metropolitan city, winds near the Luigi Ferrara Stadium in the Marassi district. Here we are now near the Brignole station, the second built to facilitate connections to the Riviera di Levante. Inaugurated for the 1905 World Expo and decorated in new Renaissance style, it bears the city's stem on the facade. We are approaching the main shopping road of the city, Via 20 Settembre, the name of which recalls the breach of Porta Pia and the unity of Italy with the Roman capital. Nearly 197 feet wide and half a mile long, it offers a comprehensive look at the well of architecture and decorations of the entrance. Genoa's residents come here in evenings for a bit of window shopping, or just for a relaxing stroll. It was built in an eclectic style, a branch of Art Nouveau which recalls the Italian architecture of the past. Oriental Market to the right is very popular. Here you can find specialty foods selected from all over the world. The market is held in the unfinished cloister of the nearby Church of the Consolation. On the opposite side up ahead, you can see one of the best-known buildings in the city, the Giants building. Down a ways, the monumental bridge crosses the road. This is an imposing architectural work, but also a memorial chapel dedicated to those fallen in the resistance. Porticos begin at the far end of the bridge, stretching along each side all the way to Piazza Ferrari. Porticos to the right support the Church of Santo Stefano. A walk along this section of the road allows you to appreciate the elegance of the details, which were painstakingly added even in the flooring, made of valuable marble grit, and distinguished by lovely genuine-style decorations of varying shapes, floral and geometric. The Rolli is an institution created in 1576 to assure heads of state visiting our city hospitality fitting to their position. The most beautiful privately owned buildings were included on the list, called the Rollo, from which lots were drawn to determine which family would host the city's most important guests on behalf of the Republic. Divided into 4 categories or compasses in order of importance, wealth, and elegance during the 1600s, the list contains roughly 135 residences. In 2006, 42 of these residences were declared UNESCO Human Heritage Sites. Here we are in Piazza Corvetto, main 19th century traffic junction leading to the elegant residential Castelletto district. At the center of the square is an equestrian monument dedicated to Victor Emmanuel II. As we drive around the square, you'll note another statue to your right dedicated to Giuseppe Mazzini, a Genoan-born politician and Republican theorist who championed the unification of Italy. As we leave the square before the tunnel, you'll see Palazzo Doria Spinola. It was built in 1541 for Antonio Doria, cousin to the renowned Admiral Andrea. It is now home to the prefecture and the offices of the Province of Genoa. This too is part of the Rolli housing list. Once we exit the tunnel, you'll see the majesty of the noble buildings constructed between the 16 and 1700s. The second road to the left is Via Lomellini, where we find the house in which Giuseppe Mazzini was born, today a Risorgimento museum. Behind these buildings is one of the most intricate parts of the historic center, the so-called ghetto. Piazza della Nunziata, we head on to Via Balbi. This road was built for the noble Balbi family, who built its residences here. The buildings, constructed during the 1600s, are today host to the humanities faculties of the university. In fact, this district is considered a sort of university campus. The building to your left, toward the end of the road, was purchased in the 1800s as the Genoan residence of the Savoy family, and is now the Royal Palace Museum. To the right, you'll see the monument to Christopher Columbus, built in 1862 on the orders of Charles Albert. We're near the city's main railway station, the first to be completed in 1860 as an arrival point on the Turin-Genoa line. Stazione Principe derives from the proximity to the so-called Palazzo del Principe, which belonged to Andrea Doria. As we drive along the road which still bears the name of this great admiral and politician, we arrive right in front of the palace, which was commissioned as his residence around 1530, known as Palazzo del Principe or the Prince's Palace. You may observe it in front of you at the end of the road. The modern expansion of the city greatly reduced the size of the gardens, which once spread up the hillside behind the main building and tapered off at the sea. It is said that at the end of lavish banquets with his guests, the admiral would give the order to throw the used dishes into the sea to flaunt his great wealth, only to then secretly have them retrieved with strategically placed fishing nets so that he could reuse them. As we leave the palace to our right, we head towards the shipping station. A first passenger boarding hall became necessary as early as 1860. However, with continuous increase in the number of passages, another enlargement was soon planned and completed in its current form in 1930. Used especially by majestic transatlantic liners en route to the Americas, it is still the main cruise terminal of our port. A complete restoration effort brought it back to its original splendor for the G8 summit in 2001. This central part of the port is destined exclusively for passenger traffic, such as cruise ships and ferries going to and from the islands. But not far from here is the port area used for the transit of goods, and farther to the west is the industrial port. Many of the buildings we see to the right by the shore are former port structures that are no longer in use, many of which are of great architectural value, like the Handycam warehouses to the right. This part of the city was progressively renovated to recuperate its historic structures thanks to a series of important events in the city. The Columbus celebrations in 1992, the G8 summit of 2001, and Genoa's year as European Capital of Culture in 2004. A walkway united the present-day shipping station with the ancient port. Driving along Via Gramsci to the left, we can see the brick building with stone arches known as Commenda di Pre. Erected in medieval times by the Order of Malta and used as a hospital for pilgrims departing for the Holy Land during the Crusades. The modern glass structure to the right is the Galata Sea Museum, built in 2004, the year that Genoa was the European Capital of Culture. As we scan the horizon to the right, we can see the silhouette of the Lanterna, the historic lighthouse built in 1128, considered a symbol of the city of Genoa. It seems that this is the oldest active lighthouse in the world. As we continue along Via Gramsci, you'll note to the right several modern buildings. They are apartments built along the dock, which offer homeowners the possibility of a boat slip rather than the usual garage space. Just up ahead is the Galeone, used by director Roman Polanski as the set of the film Pirates. As we return to the end of the line in Piazza Caricamento, to the right you can see the area of the ancient port, renovated in 1992 for the celebrations commemorating the 500th anniversary of the discovery of America. According to a design by great Genoan architect Renzo Piano, the area restored to the city is host to numerous leisure activity facilities. Our tour has reached its end. We thank you for having chosen us and remind you to save your ticket, as it entitles you to a 10% discount on other city sightseeing buses worldwide. It has been a pleasure having you aboard. Arrivederci, a presto.